Hi, so I'm new into 3D freelancing and I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm basically documenting my whole journey here for anyone that's interested. I've been wanting to learn After Effects for a while. I do 3D renders and a little bit of animation at the moment, and I've always been interested in that sort of Blender to After Effects pipeline. I feel like there's a lot of compositing and stuff like that. I've seen stuff online. I've always kind of wanted to try. And I am paying for an Adobe subscription, so I kind of thought like I need to actually start learning how to use this software. But I kind of want to speedrun this. I want to actually be able to use it quickly. So there's a few things that'll make this kind of interesting. I don't have any jobs going on at the moment, so apart from like a couple of hours a day I need to apply for jobs and things like that, I can spend basically all of my time just working on like learning motion design and After Effects. So apart from a little bit of emails and content creation, I've got like a solid 8 hours a day where I can just go ham on learning and improving my skills. So for reference, most of my background is in 3D CAD in Blender, and I do have a bit of knowledge of like the Adobe Creative Suite. I've never done any type of 2D animation really, and to be honest, video editing is also pretty new to me, so that's kind of where I'm at. It'll be interesting to kind of see where I can get to and how quickly I can get there. So to get started, I found this 11-hour course by Jack Cole, which claims to teach you everything you need to know about After Effects. So I'm gonna go through that entire thing and we'll see how far I can get. So this is going to be a bit of a series, I think, just like general learning After Effects, but if you want to see how my first 15 hours went, then watch on. So there are exercises and he does provide files, but I kind of prefer using my own footage and kind of making up my own exercises, just because that way I've got something to actually post at the end, and I think it's a bit easier. I think it's a bit better to learn when you have to kind of struggle through your own problems a little bit. And after the first hour, I had my own video cut to music. The next few hours is just going over like the UI, which is actually so important when you first start learning software, especially Adobe software, because there are just so many buttons. But then after like a couple of hours of just going through all of that, I felt pretty comfortable with it all, so I kind of know what I'm looking at now, which is a pretty good start. Okay, so after hour 2, and that's about hour 4 of learning After Effects, I was on to shapes, so like using pen tools, basic effects. I made this sun using a repeater, and then we went straight into like 3D objects, which for me was like the seriously interesting part. I love this CC sphere effect as well. It's like so easy to turn images into fake 3D objects. Obviously they look really shit at the moment, but I'm sure there's probably some way to make it look a bit better. And then already at this point we start getting into keyframing, which I'm pretty familiar with already just from Blender, but obviously every software is a little bit different. There wasn't anything into sort of animation graphs, so it's just basic keyframes, which is absolutely fine. And then this was the final result of my first sort of 3D work in After Effects, which went on the old IG. We're about 6 hours in and moving on to like text, and to be honest, again, everything's very basic and everything that I'm doing is really ugly, but now's not the time to make it look pretty. I think it's just trying to get it in and trying to get stuff animated is my main goal. I did think though it might be cool to do a course on graphic design at some point in the future, because I think my whole kind of understanding of it is a bit patchy. It's a little bit kind of self-taught. So hour 5 of the course, and we just finished like effects and presets. And while the course kind of gives a decent overview, it does feel a little bit surface level, which I guess is not surprising considering it's only 11-hour course. And I know that I'm gonna have to look in other places for kind of more advanced explanations and more technical explanations on how to do stuff. There is one thing I will say, that there are some points where the explanations feel a bit off. Like for For example, he like simplifies subscript as just making the text smaller, and there's a bit where he talks about LUTs but doesn't really, just kind of calls them filters, which I think if you know anything, if you're kind of in the design world, I think that might feel a bit off or a bit jarring to you, I think. So it makes me wonder if maybe the methods that he's giving are the most like efficient ways of working. But there are some comments in the video that actually suggest quicker alternatives and other ways you can go about it, so all good. And again, it's nice to go through stuff in quite a surface level way, that way I can pick up the first bits and not get worried too much about the details and too many of the controls and the keyboard shortcuts and stuff. I will say it is really easy to follow, and it's at a very slow pace. Maybe I realised that I wasn't as much of a beginner as I thought I was, so I put it on 2x speed, and honestly that was perfect. And then finally, after the effects section, I had to play about with some of the effects myself, kind of got a few tutorials and then ended up putting this together. So hours 7 to 10 is when it got really interesting for me. So we started talking about stuff like masking, transitions, rotoscoping, motion tracking. This is all stuff that I've never done anything like before. So it's all new to me, so it was really exciting to get like an introduction into that whole world of things. I did my first motion tracking video, and at this point it's like 2 AM and it took so many goes to try and get a video that would track properly. I actually got a comment on my IG saying I looked high in this video. And to be honest, no. I've done that video about 15 times, so that's why I look like that. And then I did some rotoscoping as well, so I took this video of my friend Rudy driving me on the back of his bike and put it on the video I took of the Tacoma Desert in Colombia. I know the angles aren't the same, but I think it's really nice. It's quite a cute video. So hour 12 of learning After Effects, and I finished watching the course. So I did a few hours of like cleaning up all the exercises that I'd done and kind of getting them exported. I definitely want to do some more stuff on shapes, but I think I might try and find some videos that are more focused on the illustration side. But the really cool bit that I wanted to try was like this masking effect, so like putting the same person twice in the same frame. So I managed to do this, and honestly it's not even that hard once you understand the concept of it, but I was so excited when I managed to do it. So my final thoughts, I'm about 15 hours into learning After Effects now, and I managed to make all these animations. I am genuinely very grateful to Jack for making that course, because I feel like now I've got a good understanding of the basics, and it was obviously a lot of work to put that course together, and I'm like really excited to get more into it and get more advanced. It's not good because I'm actually too excited, like I can't go to bed on time anymore and I'm ill, so it's not helping. But anyway, I'm just getting started, so I feel like to really start learning properly I need to start doing stuff for myself. So I was thinking that'll be my next video. I'm gonna just do a few designs and just fumble my way through and see how I get on. So if you're interested in seeing that, stick around, or maybe even subscribe. Thanks, bye.